what do 2 Xbox Ones, 2 PlayStation 2s, a Wii, a WiiU, an Acer laptop,
3 iPads, an iPhone XS, an iPhone 11, a box guitar amp, an orange guitar amp, a 55-inch 4K flat panel television, a large computer monitor, an Oculus, 2 ceiling fans, a couple box fans, and a few ceiling lights
have in common 2 things. They are all operated by 2 teenage boys in my home, and they all can't operate on a single 15 amp breaker. In today's episode of Tips for Realtors, we're going to be adding a little bit on to a previous episode about resistance. Resistors are a part of electronic equipment where when power goes into them, they slow down power, and as a result, those resistors heat up. We see that in a common red coil on the surface of a hot stove that is resisting the power going through the coil, and as a result, it's heating up. Power likes to escape when it hasn't the ability to work its way through the conductor. Now, with that in mind, back to my kids, what was happening in my house, we bought our house back in January of 2020. They had plugged all this stuff in, and I had no idea that their 2 bedrooms and the bathroom associated with their 2 bedrooms were all running off a single 15 amp breaker. Now, a 15 amp breaker on a 110 circuit can allow for about 1,650 watts to go to those 3 places at the same time. And if you're running all that equipment and running the bath fan and the light in the bathroom, you're going to pop the breaker. And they were popping the breaker, and they weren't telling Dad. So what was happening was my younger son was like, "Hey, it's your turn to turn the breaker back on." I did it last time. No, I did it last time. You walked the dog. Oh, okay. Well, you turn it on this time, and I'll walk the dog again. Oh, okay. And what was happening is every 15 to 20 minutes, they were flipping the breaker back on and going back to playing video games. And this was basically drawing a lot of power through that 15 amp breaker, through the conductors in the walls that had no business being pulled into those rooms. And those conductors, the wires in the walls, were heating up to the point that they looked like the conductor that's sitting on top of a hot stove. And they were creating a fire hazard, and they very likely could have burned down my house. And without any knowledge of how all these systems work, somebody could say, "Hey, well, if a 15 amp breaker is not really cutting the mustard, let's throw in a 20 or let's throw in a 30 amp breaker, and that'll do the trick." And if that was the case, what would happen is that the conductors would continue to heat up inside the walls, but the breaker wouldn't flip, and you would really have a potential to burn down the house. So it's vitally important that you do exactly what I did. When I realized there was an issue, and I realized that the boys were flipping the breaker, which is dangerous, by the way, I hired a licensed and qualified electrician to come in, separate the 2 rooms so that they ran on separate 15 amp breakers, and then separated the bathroom as well. It costed a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, my home's safe. They all have the power available to their rooms to be able to run all the equipment that they want to run at the same time, and everything's golden. So when you see this stuff come up on inspection reports, when it is available on an inspection report, which doesn't always show up, it's something along these lines, we want to make sure that they are taken care of by qualified and licensed electricians, and they can basically give you the power that you need in the areas that you need, so that you're not creating problems. And we definitely don't want to see oversized breakers for undersized conductors. That's the real issue, and that would pop up in an inspection report. We definitely want to make sure that these panels have not been hot rodded or rednecked. That would be a bad thing. You guys, thank you for watching, and if you like the episode, please like and share.